December 12th, 2025. A back road in rural Ohio that almost nobody drives down. And sitting on it, a truck, still smoking, with someone inside. It would take his own family weeks just to find out who that someone was. His name was Ethan Vernon, 20 years old, no record, no enemies anyone could name. Nothing in his life that explained how he ended up on that road, in that truck, like this. And it would take 7 more months, and an arrest almost nobody saw coming, before anyone got close to a real answer. To understand why this case hit a small community as hard as it did, you have to understand who Ethan actually was. He grew up in Meigs County, Ohio, the kind of place where people genuinely know their neighbors. He graduated from Meigs High School, worked as a mechanic, loved being outdoors. His mother, Glenna, later summed him up simply: he was a great kid, didn't get in trouble. That's not just something people say after a loss. Friends kept echoing some version of it for months, completely unprompted. December 11th started like any other day. Ethan went to work. He stopped by to see his girlfriend. He was expected home that night. That was the last normal thing anyone remembers him doing. He never made it home. The next morning, deputies found his truck on Hemlock Grove Road. In a stretch of Bedford Township his own family says he had no reason to be in. Not somewhere he hung out. Not on the way to anywhere he usually went. And it had been set on fire. Inside were remains and, strangely, a gun left up front. But the fire had done so much damage that investigators couldn't immediately say how this person had died, or even officially confirm who it was. What really gets me is what came next. Nothing. For weeks, Ethan's family sat in that unbearable in-between, not knowing, but fearing the worst. Official confirmation that the remains were their son didn't come until late February, more than 2 months after he disappeared. I keep thinking about that detail. Not knowing if your child is alive is one kind of horror. Waiting weeks, after a truck's already been found burned, just to be told it's really him, that's a quieter, slower kind of cruelty, the kind nobody talks about enough. Here's where most cases like this either break open fast or go cold. This one went cold. Once the identification was confirmed, the Meigs County Sheriff's Office treated the death as suspicious, even without enough, yet, to officially call it a homicide. And they didn't sit still. Investigators pulled records from phones and online accounts, almost 50 warrants worth. They walked the area door to door. They gathered whatever security footage existed nearby. None of it led anywhere. No suspect, no motive, no arrests. In March, on what would have been Ethan's 21st birthday, his family and friends gathered by the river in Pomeroy and lit candles instead of celebrating. The family posted a $10,000 reward. His cousin later told a local station that the whole community felt the same mix of grief and anger, watching the case go quiet, month after month, with no explanation at all. 4 months, 5, 6, nothing. If you're thinking this sounds like one of those cases that just stays open forever, I thought that too, for a while. Then, on July 1st, one day before I sat down to record this, that changed. Deputies, backed by a special response team, executed a search warrant at a home in Athens County. Inside, they arrested 3 people, all from the same family: 65-year-old Randy Haining, 63-year-old Beverly Haining, and 24-year-old Sarah Haining. A grand jury indicted all 3. The charges are serious: murder, arson, tampering with evidence, gross abuse of a corpse, and dozens of counts of obstructing justice. Sarah alone is facing 49 separate counts. Honestly, the part that still bothers me isn't the arrest itself. It's what officials still haven't said. How did the Haining family and Ethan know each other? Nobody's confirmed a connection publicly. No motive's been released. We have names, ages, and charges, and almost nothing about the why. To me, that's the strangest part of this entire case. An arrest isn't the same thing as an answer. Cause of death still hasn't been made public. And it's worth saying plainly, right now, all three are only charged. This hasn't gone to trial. Legally, they're innocent until proven otherwise, and that matters, even in a story this painful. So here's where this actually stands. A case that sat frozen for 7 months is finally moving, but it isn't finished. A mother waited half a year just to see anyone in handcuffs, and she still doesn't have the full story. And if this is the kind of case you want me following as it develops, subscribe. I'll be tracking this one. Ethan Vernon was 20 years old. He deserved to come home that night. Whatever else comes out about this case, that's the part worth remembering.